You ever wonder if there's a real, measurable connection between what we feel on the inside and what actually happens in the world around us? Well, today we're going to dive into some absolutely incredible evidence that suggests the answer to that is a huge, resounding yes.
Okay, so let's just jump right in with a huge question. One that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, right? Can a simple human feeling, something totally non-physical, something inside you, actually heal a physical body, like right in front of your eyes? It sounds impossible, but let's look at a case that was actually documented on film.
So our story takes us to this really unique place. It's a hospital in Beijing, China, but it's often called a medicineless hospital. This is the kind of place people go when traditional Western medicine has basically said, sorry, there's nothing more we can do. They don't go there for a quick fix. They go there to learn a completely different way to think, to live, and to be.
And it was inside this very hospital that a video was recorded, a video documenting an event that just completely challenges everything we think we know about healing. Let's break down exactly what happened.
You really need to understand the setup here because this isn't just some story somebody told. This was documented. So you've got the patient, a woman with a 3-inch tumor in her bladder that doctors said was inoperable. And get this, she's wide awake, no anesthetic, no drugs. Behind her are 3 practitioners, and right next to her is an ultrasound technician watching her bladder on a screen in real time.
So what they do is they freeze that first image of the tumor on the left side of the screen, just so we have a before picture. Then on the right side, we're watching the live feed. And as they begin, you see it happen. In real time, the tumor starts to shrink. It just dissolves. And then, in just 2 minutes and 40 seconds, it's completely gone, vanished. Not in weeks or days, we're talking less than 3 minutes.
And you might be thinking, okay, that's a 1 in a million shot, right? A fluke. Well, no. Turns out this is a repeatable process. For the patients who go through this and actually adopt the hospital's practices, these new ways of living and thinking, the success rate after 3 years is over 90%. It's staggering. So, the billion-dollar question is, how? What in the world was happening in that room to make a physical tumor disappear? And this brings us to the core principle of it all, the idea that the magic, the prayer, if you will, is actually a feeling. So what were those 3 practitioners actually doing? I mean, they weren't touching her, there's no surgery, no medicine. So what was the active ingredient here? And here it is. This is the absolute core of it all. They were not fighting the cancer. They weren't trying to destroy it or get rid of it. They were simply and collectively generating the feeling of what it would be like to be in the room with a woman who was already completely healed. They were living in the end result.
So why on earth would that work?
Well, one theory is called the quantum hologram. Think of it like this. In the quantum field, every possibility already exists. So a blueprint for a perfectly healed bladder already exists, right alongside the blueprint for the diseased one. What the practitioners were doing with their powerful, focused feeling was essentially changing the channel. They were tuning into the frequency of the healthy blueprint, and that activated it, allowing it to replace the reality of the sick one.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds a little out there, a little mystical, right? But what's fascinating is that we can actually build a bridge from this idea to Western science. We can start to see this not as a random miracle, but as a predictable internal technology.
You know Einstein's famous equation, right? E equals mc squared. At its simplest, it tells us that non-physical energy and physical matter are just 2 sides of the same coin. They can be converted into one another. So, what if we apply that exact same logic here? What if our non-physical feeling is a form of energy and our physical experience is matter? That would mean they're interchangeable too. And that has a huge implication. If you can create the feeling, you can literally influence the physical experience.
And hey, this isn't just a theory. We can actually measure how our feelings physically change our bodies. Just look at this. Studies show that when we feel genuine gratitude or appreciation, the production of DHEA, that's the precursor to all our awesome life-affirming hormones, it shoots up by over 100%. And on the flip side, feel anger or rage, and your cortisol, the main stress hormone, spikes by over 23%. Our feelings are literally creating our body's chemistry in every single moment.
So for centuries, this whole process has been a total mystery. We'd see it like this. Something happens, it triggers some unknown process inside us, which then somehow interacts with the world, and we get a result. And when that result was amazing and we couldn't explain it, we just called it a miracle. It was a black box.
But now, science is allowing us to fill in those blank boxes. The trigger isn't a mystery. It's a powerful, heart-based feeling. The process is the change in our body's chemistry. That chemical change then produces real quantum effects that directly influence our physical world. And when you understand the steps, it's not a miracle anymore. It's a technology, an internal technology that we all have access to.
Okay, so if this is a technology, how do we use it? What's the user manual? Well, the ancient traditions that worked with this stuff for centuries left behind what you could call 4 keys, 4 core principles that help us understand how to use this power in our own lives.
The first key kind of flips our whole idea of time on its head. We tend to think of time as a straight line, but this idea says to think of time as vertical. In every single moment, all possible outcomes, the you that's healed, the you that's sick, the you that's successful, the you that fails, they all already exist as potentials. The way you make one of them real is by choosing it, and you choose it by feeling what it feels like to already be there. Second, and this is a big one, we're all in this together, literally. The idea here is that we are all connected through one single field of consciousness. What that means is, every time one person figures out a new, more peaceful, more loving way to respond to a challenge, that choice doesn't just help them. It creates a new pathway, a new possibility in the collective field, making that choice just a little bit easier for everyone else. Okay, key number 3 might be the toughest one to swallow, but it's also the most empowering. It says that the world is a giant mirror. Everything you see and experience out there, your health, your relationships, your job, your finances, it's all a direct reflection of what's going on inside you. So if you see chaos and conflict outside, it's not a punishment, it's simply an invitation from the universe to take a look inside. And that brings us to the 4th and final key, the one that ties it all together. Feeling is the language. It's how we communicate with this field of creation. Think of it like this. Your thought is the blueprint. It gives the direction. But your emotion, that's the fuel. That's the power that makes it happen. The feeling is when you marry the two, and that's the language the universe understands. So, what do we do with all this? If we really have this incredible internal technology, this power to participate in creation, what does that mean for you and me, right here, right now? At the end of the day, it's about a huge shift in how we see ourselves. We stop being just passive observers, victims of random things that happen to us, and we start becoming empowered participants. We realize we actually have a say in the events of our lives, our bodies, and our world through the choices we make inside our own hearts.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. If your world truly is a mirror of your inner state, take a good, honest look around you. Look at your life. What are your feelings, your deep down beliefs, and your emotions asking the world to reflect back to you today?